Welcome to Front and Center Ice, presented by Run Pure Bets. I'm JC Zargo, joined as always by Nate Savai and Tanner Smith, and we got a special guest today in Jared Kimball. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you guys? Nice little
Doing great,
Saturday
doing great.
day of sports.
Huge day, man. We got NHL, NFL, NBA, whatever you're into. You into it. College football, college basketball. It's a great day. It's a great day to be a sports fan. Jared, what you got going on, man? Why you in the group today?
Yeah, so pretty awesome week, past week. So I think two Thursdays ago, qualified for an $1,000 qualifier for the live final, and then a couple days later got one for the $300 one, and then this past Tuesday, I jumped into the $300 qualifier and snuck up into first place at the very end, thanks to our Yotes, and thanks to Natus 5 for a little Lawson Krause call that I used. But yeah, it was a crazy sweat for sure. Going into like after the early games, I was pretty worried. I had Connor Hellebuck put up 1.4 points for me in net, ended up being my lowest score. So definitely a little sweat there. And then Nick Bukestad got a little shot correction at the end to jump up and put me, I think it was 0.4 points in first. So yeah, nice little sweat, but excited to go out to Denver in March and represent for Run Pure for sure.
Hell yeah, baby. Nate's fine, man. Go ahead and take your victory lap.
Yeah, I mean, chat was making fun of me all day. I had to shove it up, you know what, for them, mispronouncing every name. But hey, if I'm calling goal scorers at 2% ownership and core plays that ship our guys live final seats, I'll do that every day and mispronounce more names. So we'll run it back today. I love the slate today. Was looking late last night. Got some plans. Got some Christmas stuff going on with the girl today and her family. So did all my research and stuff late last night and finished it up this morning. So we're looking good. But yeah, Lawson Krause was a hero for us and Jared for sure. So it was fun.
Hell yeah, yeah. So on Tuesday's show, all this information, a lot of it's coming through on the Run Pure website, whether it's via the core plays or the Discord. It's why you got to be a member. But hey, man, occasionally when you jump in on shows like this, you get stellar information. And Nate Defy dropped the anytime goal scorer on Tuesday. That cashed out at plus 340, and it helps some people ship. So, we're doing the Lord's work here. So be sure to give us a like. Check Run Pure. Subscription side is great. But even on the free side, you can check out bets. I'm dropping picks daily. Tanner's dropping the NHL Best blog. Tons of great information. You guys got to get in on this because, if you're not winning with us, you're just watching us win. So jump aboard. But yeah, huge slate today. Great board, in my opinion. So let's just jump right into it. Kicking things off, we got the Columbus Blue Jackets visiting the Boston Bruins. Boston's in a bit of a weird slump. They're beating good teams and losing to bad teams. Like they recently beat Vegas. Then they lost to Arizona. Islanders took them to a shootout, as did LA. So, kind of weird. Getting some weird games from this team. Playing a horrible Columbus squad today. What do you guys think? How are you approaching this game, Nate Defy?
Yeah, so I haven't looked at the early slate. I kind of focused on the main 10-game slate here for DFS side. But the early slate looks pretty chalky. I mean, Edmonton's facing Anaheim, which is probably one of the best matchups for DFS. To target, Edmonton's been an absolute printer. They can just score goals, but their defense hasn't been great. So leads to pretty good game environments there. But yeah, Boston, I mean, this Columbus squad is woof. They're pretty brutal. This Boston, I mean, they should steamroll this team. Price tags look to be up there. I mean, Pasta's approaching 9K. But yeah, I can't fault anyone for going to the Bruins here. Pasta's playing great. Marchand finally got a goal last game. But yeah, I mean, it's a good game. If I was playing it, definitely the Boston and Edmonton's the chalk. It's going to be tough to pair them together in terms of their big boys, their top lines. So I wouldn't mind some Columbus here. Is just kind of off the board. Line A's kind of slowed down a little bit. His price is up there, but he should have 0%, like no ownership at all. Johnny Hockey's there too. His price points in the low sixes. Wouldn't hate that. Boone Jenner as well. But yeah, overall lean Boston here. But I don't know. Don't love it for DFS, to be honest. I might just focus on if I was playing at Edmonton and grab some pieces from that Detroit Ottawa game.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of thing. It's the way Boston playing. It's a hard team to bet. They're scoring goals, though, so I understand from DFS perspective. They've certainly been profitable. Personally, I'm liking the over here, but puck line sitting at 2.5. I just don't think that's a play, seeing not only that the Bruins can be beaten so easily, but, you know, they can at least be kept close. So I think 2.5 is too many goals. What do you think, Tanner?
I hadn't looked at this much before the show, but there's not a whole lot of value here. Boston should, on paper, absolutely steamroll this Blue Jackets team. Get Tarasov in net. He hasn't been great. This team hasn't been great. Like you said, puck line -1.5 is -155. Like, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Over 6.5, -105 isn't a bad payout. I just worry about Columbus scoring goals.
Sure.
I know Swayman's in net, and I've been bad-mouthing him a lot over in the Bets Discord. He's let me down a handful of times, but he can let some squeak by. But this is just such a complete mismatch on paper. I just don't see anything to even look at here.
Yeah. Over, like I said, really only play I was thinking out of this one. What do you think, Jared? You got anything on this game?
Yeah, I agree with them. I think, I mean, this is pretty obvious a Boston pick. I mean, the goal line 1.5 at -155 on DraftKings. There's just not a lot of value in that. Even the 60-minute line is -255. So it's pretty obvious that Bruins are very favored here. I think it's hard to get away from them, even though they are chalky. I think, you know, that first line, their power play is a good group to go to in the early slate. I think, as Native Spy was mentioning, I think Columbus D would be an interesting thing. They have a couple cheap guys, Gavrikov, Bjork. I think if you wanted to one-off one of them to just get a cheap defender in there, I wouldn't hate either of them. And then obviously I would just ride with the Boston Shrug.
Right on. Anything else on this game before we move on, boys?
No, good here. I mean, you look at the early slate, you got a 430 favorite in Boston and a 320 favorite in Edmonton. So that's definitely where the chalk's going to go. I like focusing more on this next game that we're going to talk about, Ottawa and Detroit, just because it's basically a pick 'em. Both teams can score. Neither teams play great defense. Neither goalies are great. So definitely bodes well for DFS. Obviously, Husso has been better in that, but the Sens are on a 3-game winning streak and can definitely grab some pieces here in DFS if I were to play the slate.
Yeah, man. I mean, you nailed it. I mean, so that's the thing is, like, this Ottawa team has almost moved out of the bottom 10. Like, they were a complete dumpster fire to start the year. They've won 5 of the last 7. They're not defeating the best teams, but hey, a win's a win in the National Hockey League. So, seeing they're kind of hot. Red Wings team, they haven't been the best. They've been a bit of a slump. They got dogged by Minnesota earlier in the week. Jared, man, we'll start with you. You got any moves for this game?
Yeah, I like this game as a good pivot for GPPs. As Nazify was mentioning, I think that there's definitely some good options on both sides. It's hard. Like, this Detroit team, I would love, like, if they were way more healthy. Obviously, they're missing a ton of their guys. I don't think there's been a decision on Larkin and Hronek yet if they're going to play or not. I think there's still game time decisions.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
But I
They're
think
still
going
picking Hronek off the ice.
I think going to Ottawa here is a good decision. I think their team has looked really good over the past couple games, as we've been mentioning. I think rolling with that power play is always smart because they're really divided between those two lines, especially with Stützle out. So I think that would be a good decision in GPPs to pivot over to Ottawa here on this early slate.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, Detroit scored 2 goals over their last 3 games. I mean, they've kind of just been an embarrassment of late. Like you said, injuries are a huge part to blame for it. I just kind of have no faith in them. And with how Ottawa's playing, I'd have a hard time going against them. Tanner, you agree with that? Or you?
Yeah, definitely, especially with no Dylan Larkin in the lineup. Like he's been the heart and soul of that team. Husso's been very good for them. But yeah, they can't score goals. No Larkin in the lineup. Vrana's back on the team, but he's not ready to play yet. Yeah, this the way. Even with Brassard on that top line, are you guys going with Brassard in this game at all like that? If you're even playing it, or
I like DeBrincat here, Big Cat. Bath has been incredible. So like if I look at my numbers here, I just threw them on the bottom of my sheet so I can speak better to this game. Detroit is 30th in the league at home scoring in the last 5, and Ottawa is 27th in the league in allowing goals at just over 2 per game. So that doesn't bode well for Detroit there. But on the flip side, Ottawa's power play sitting nearly 30% on the road, and Detroit's penalty kill is almost right around 70%. So I would focus on this Ottawa top power play. Giroux is pretty cheap. Batherson's pretty cheap. Chabot, obviously, always in play. He's a stud D-man. And Big Cat, I think Cat has been pulling double duty in times this year, so definitely gives a boost there to him. And he's playing well, and he's right around 6.8K. So a little bit salary savings from that Boston top line or Edmonton top line there with pretty similar upside, I would say.
Nice.
You're saying from the bet side, DeBrincat, I mean, the sniper himself, he's plus 160 to score, which I think is a gross, not overpayment, but it's a great payout for a guy who can let it fly. He had 3 points last game. We got Kachuk's plus 190. Yeah, Kachuk's plus 190 to score. As you said, Claude Giroux, he's plus 280 to score. That entire power play is a great spot to look for anyone looking for a goal scorer prop there.
Right on.
He's got 3 goals in his last 3 too versus Detroit.
Yeah, he's just so good.
Knowing what these teams are capable of. What do you think about that, Tanner?
Well, I'm sorry. What did you say about that?
The under, like it was maybe. I would lean under, but I don't think it's strong enough.
Yeah, I'm not. I can't really say either way because I definitely the under just because Detroit's scoring has been pretty pitiful. And
it's hard to go against the unders, man.
Yeah, it's
the unders have they've been
so dominant. I have so many for these late games of how many unders that I like too. It's bad. So all of them is going to pop off
too.
Yeah, I would kind of I'm kind of thinking Ottawa 60-minute money line plus 134 is my play on this. You got anything else?
Say I'm not playing it, but if I were to play that, money or the win in regulations, that's a great payout for this matchup.
Jared, anything to add, my man?
Yeah, I like Ottawa. I think the 60-minute line is definitely good. I would probably lean the under as well, but I think I'd probably just not bet it right now.
Absolutely. Sweet. Awesome. Moving right along. So again, we kind of touched on this game already. Ducks at Oilers. It's a gross one. Anaheim has been terrible. They are coming off a 5-2 win over Montreal, but this Edmonton team is quite a bit better than Montreal. From a betting perspective, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze here. I think Edmonton's a better play than Boston, but at minus 134, down to 128 on the Edmonton puck line, I don't really think it's worth it. Tanner, you got any betting plays on this?
No, absolutely nothing for this. McDavid's minus 160 as a goal scorer. That's just gross for a goal scorer. I know it's McDavid, but come on. My Draisaitl minus 135. I mean, I guess if anything, you could go Zach Hyman. He's plus 125, but there's really not a whole lot I like about this. It's just so lopsided. Anaheim stinks. Edmonton hasn't been great lately, but we all know what they can do.
Yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't even like the over because Anaheim could easily get shut out here.
Yeah, it's just they don't provide much. I think they have a bright future. Troy Terry's a stud. Zegers can play well, but yeah, I don't see this game going well for them at all.
All right, so we got nothing on it, but I know you guys are probably hot on it. Nate's a 5-man. What's your plays here?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the best DFS matchups that you can dream of when I'm looking at purely numbers here. Edmonton scoring nearly 5 goals per game at home, and the Ducks allow over 4 goals per game on the road. And their penalty kills under 70%, and you put this Oilers team on the power play, and if they don't score, it's kind of a miracle here in this matchup because I mean, you give McDavid, Leon, Hyman, Barry, these guys that top power play work against this penalty kill. It's not going to bode well. So if Anaheim can limit the penalties, which they're kind of middle of the pack in terms of just over about three penalties per game on the road. So I mean, you give this Oilers team 3 penalties, they probably pot 2 goals here in this game, I think. Is that enough to pay off their price tags in the DFS side? I'm not sure. McDavid is over 9K. He's he's Jesus for a reason. That's his nickname. He's incredible, but actually Zach Hyman has been playing incredible. You got $2,300 savings from McDavid to go to Hyman, and about a $1,500 savings from Leon to go to Hyman. Hyman's probably going to be pretty chalky. But I mean, you got a 320 favorite and a 400 favorite on the slate. It's hard. You're going to have to eat the chalk somewhere, right? They're chalky for a reason, and they're heavy favorites for a reason. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, that's probably why I'm not playing this early slate. Is just it's pretty cut and dry, and I just never really liked the early slates on Saturdays. I kind of focus on the main, so I'm not doing too much. I don't know if Jared's playing it, but yeah, that's where I lean here. It's hard to get away from Edmonton.
Yeah, what you got, Jared?
Yeah. This is one of those situations like when teams play like teams like the Ducks and some lower level teams. It's always hard in tournaments. I like to try and get different. I think I think it was last week when Toronto played them, won 7-0. I always like to take the situation and try and find maybe a guy on the third line or maybe 2 guys on the third line that can pick out and see if maybe they can score and we can get some leverage that way. But the problem with Edmonton, man, is just I don't feel comfortable
so
playing
top heavy.
Anybody.
They've got to be the most top heavy team in the league.
Oh my God. Like I'm looking at all the names and I'm just like, I don't think I can pick out a person on one of these lines that I think could paw one. So I think the strategy in GPPs is just go full on, like stack up McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, Hyman, and then you're gonna have to go very cheap. But I think that's the best way to get different in this game. I think an interesting call is I'm not huge on Edmonton's goaltending. Obviously, I think an interesting one would be throwing in Strome and Vetrano. That line, I think that one could be an interesting line for that. But yeah, I think if you want to play in GPPs, get very different and try and just go full power play and full stack. And then, of course, in cash, just, lock in the big guns.
Right on. Sweet. All right, anything else before we move on, guys?
Yeah, I mean, you could take a stab at Yamamoto. He's 2.6K. He's probably going to get some ownership just because he's skating on that second line. But Nugent Hopkins has been great, so he gets a little boost there. 2.6K, basically stone mid on the second power play as well. Obviously, that top power play for the Oilers basically takes all 2 minutes almost of that penalty, just because if they don't score within the first minute, they're usually not tired anyways because they're just sitting there waiting for the puck, waiting for the pass. So yeah, that's a flyer, but again, it's a pretty gross early slate. So Jared does make a good point. Just overstack this Edmonton squad and grab some cheap flyer one-offs that might have some goal upside, right? And you could get it done that way.
Right on. Okay. Now we got those games out of the way. We can move on to the late slate. Game I'm most excited for here is the Dallas Stars visiting the Carolina Hurricanes. Dallas back on track. There's that little losing streak they had. They defeated Washington. Then they gave New Jersey a 4-1 beatdown. They're pretty hot, but so are the Hurricanes. Hurricanes have won 3 in a row, 7 of their last 8. They allow fewer goals than any other team in the league. Not as dominant at home as they were last season, but I mean, this is still a great team. Jared, man, we'll switch it up. We'll start with you. What spots do you like in this game?
Yeah, this is one of those totals I think is like super trappy. I think they're trying to get people to bet the over. These are 2 solid teams, but they're, both of the best defending teams in the league. So I was looking at it, I think since Aho has been out of the lineup, they've had 3 straight games go 5 goals or under.
Mhm.
So they're obviously a much different team. I mean, I'm not saying anything crazy by saying that without Aho. And also, I saw that the last 3 road games that the Stars have played have all been unders as well. So I'm actually going to go under 5.5 here at minus 105. I think I saw in the playbook that one of the two of you liked the over, but I'm leaning towards the under in this one. Probably wouldn't pick a side. If I had to, I would go Hurricanes. They're a great home squad over the past few years. But I'm probably just lean just going the under, and then for DFS, I think I'm just totally avoiding the spot.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, on the goalie side, nothing's confirmed. Carolina, it doesn't really matter who's in net. But Ottinger is looking to start for Dallas, so that's definitely an edge to the under. And then as is Jason Robertson. He's now gone 6 games without scoring a goal. So as long as he's being held at bay, yeah, I really think the under is definitely a smart move here. What do you think, Tanner?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the under here. I usually don't like doing it when it's at 5.5, but just the way these teams play defense, the Hurricanes, I'm going to give the goaltending edge to the Stars. Obviously, Ottinger, I think, is much better than either Ranta or Kochetkov. But just the way, even without Aho, the way they just dominate puck possession, I mean, where they're out shooting opponents, they're first in shots for, they're first in shots against, out shooting opponents by 17 shots on average. The under looks really nice here. The number hasn't come out yet, but one thing I'm interested to see is what Jake Ottinger's save prop is, because I'm definitely going to be looking at that if it's around like the 28.5, 29.5 line. Definitely because of the way the Hurricanes, they really like to, use the goalie for target practice. They don't really seem to score goals, but they seem to hit the goalie a ton.
Yeah.
But so that's definitely where I'll be looking on that. But yeah, the under looks very nice on these teams. The Hurricanes are just so structurally sound. I don't think it really matters. Like you said, who's in net for them. I think I could probably suit up for him at this point.
Probably.
Slight exaggeration. I am 1-0 as a goalie, though. But
I would fade you for sure.
Yeah, I had 7 goals against average, so we'll get past that. But yeah, I like the under on this for sure.
We should get you over there to be the emergency goalie.
Yeah, I mean, I can do it.
Start the campaign. Tanner for E-Bug in Carolina.
Exactly. Let's get it going. But yeah, under's where I like. What is what I'm looking at here? Not the most exciting game.
All right, Nate's a 5 man. We are all on the same page. You're normally the contrarian, though. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, so I didn't break this game down. So typically, Matty Ice and myself, he's my counterpart, absolute legend over on the DFS side with us. But he works top down. I kind of work bottom up from the playbook. So I didn't break this game down. He does lean the over. Looking at the playbook and his game breakdown, Dallas allows top 10 shots against, and Carolina shoots at the most per game at home. Otter has been fine in net, but he hasn't been a brick wall, right? So definitely could see some goals here, and 5.5. I mean, that's pretty low. We don't see 5.5 totals too often. Both teams are very good defensively, right? Defensive-minded teams, but they do have some firepower on offense. I lean more towards the Stars a little bit here, kind of in agreement with Matty Ice, just because Aho being out and some of these injuries on this Kane squad does lean me more towards the Stars just from firepower alone. They got Rupi and obviously Robo and Pav and those guys have been good. One note here is Brady. I can't pronounce it. I'm going to butcher his last name. Skiji?
It's just Shay.
Oh yeah.
Shay.
You talked about that. Yeah. You talked about that. I mean, he's got 14, 15, 16, 16, 10 in his last 5 games. He's at right 4K, which is pretty value for a D-man. He gets second power play run. He's shooting the puck nearly 4 times per game as a defender. I mean, that bodes well for shot block upside as bonus points for DFS purposes. I know Matty hates this guy, but I tend to follow the numbers, and if you're going to give me a defender at 4K, which sometimes I like to spend down a little bit more, but I mean, not often you find a 4K defender shooting the puck nearly 4 times per game, right? Getting power play run, playing over 22 minutes a game. So there's some meat on the bone there. But overall, from a DFS side, this game's probably a complete fade outside of maybe maybe Brady Shea for me. You look at my sheet that I provide on the DFS side, and there's more red and orange on this than probably any other game in the slate. So not a great game, and that's 5.5 total speaks for that. So
right on. Yeah, no, I think Shea's a gem as well. I'm a Carolina boy, so I follow this team pretty closely, and he's a guy that he's not going to light up the box score, but he's a difference maker for sure on that team. So that's a great call out. And yeah, guys, that's why you got to join Run Pure. We got the playbook. Nate Defy, Matty Ice, they break down every game. And we're trying to grow the sport here, Run Pure. So if something's covered or something isn't covered that you like, throw a question in the Discord. Me and the boys always happy to talk hockey. So if don't cover it here, not covered in the playbook, throw a question or two in the Discord. You want to live bet, whatever, we'll help you guys out. Jared, man, anything else from anyone on this game?
I would say, just going off the Brady Shea talk there, over 2.5 shots for him is plus 100.
Oh, that's a great play.
Yeah, if he's shooting that much, that's a great payout.
This might be the most Brady Shea has ever been talked about.
All right.
Without people,
but if you look at his last
name.
5 games, if you look at his last 5 games, he's hit over that on all but his last game in Seattle.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a sleeper game in general. Even a 1-0 win against Detroit, he had 3 shots on goal. Yeah, with a goal, he was the goal scorer. So
it's wild because he was not that player with the Rangers at all. So
he hasn't been that player until this year.
Surrounded by though in Carolina, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you got Burns and Slavin up front in front of him. That just makes it a lot easier for him.
Speaking of the Rangers, though, taking on the Flyers. It's a intriguing matchup. Rangers, they've been playing some great hockey of late. Flyers, while they're not the best team in the league, they play opponents tough. You never know when they're coming for an upset. They're just no scrub. They get in, they play tough hockey. Things though, Rangers right behind Carolina for fewest goals allowed. This is another game with a 5.5 over under. Tanner, man, how are you playing it?
Yeah, I like the under here. We both know what Igor and Carter Hart are both capable of. Carter Hart, I don't think he stands on his head for a 48 save win again here like he did against New Jersey the other day. But I definitely will be keeping an eye on whatever his save prop is, because the Rangers are somehow way better on the road than they are at home. They get over 33 shots a game on the road. What I found interesting, though, is Philly doesn't really give up that many shots. They only allow 25 shots on home ice. That's the Tortorella effect. He's very big on blocking shots, no matter how much you're paid. So I want to see what that line is before it comes out. But DraftKings has the under at 6 for minus 120, and I really like that line. 2 goalies that can stand on their head, shut down a game. The Flyers are all over the place right now. The word just came out, who was it? Kevin Hayes got healthy scratch. Yeah. Someone just decided they were leaving the team, and so they're gone. And they're a little bit of a mess right now. Rangers minus 1.5 is definitely a little enticing. It's plus 155. So I'll definitely be keeping my eye on that one. Rangers 60-minute line is also even plus 100. So that's probably where I'd go, because I'm definitely on the Rangers side here. Just a more talented team for sure.
Jared, man, Rangers, they're on a 5-game winning streak. They make it 6 tonight, or is Philly going to come in with an upset?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 6. I like the 60-minute line. I also like the under in this one. 2 obviously solid goalies. I think Carter Hart is due for some regression a little bit. Coming off that crazy performance last game with a ton of saves. I just don't think he can do it back-to-back against 2 solid offensive teams. Historically, this matchup has been pretty low scoring. I think I just looked it up over the past 10 years. The average goals was like around 5.2 or something like that. So I think leaning the under on this one for sure. The one thing that I'm struggling with in DFS is, their lines are pretty spread out. They have 3 solid lines, obviously, and Gallant for some reason likes to just continue to change them up. It looked like Barclay Goodrow is on the first line now, which is quite interesting. If you're playing this in DFS, I would probably lean just going the power play. obviously, I think that's the safer move. I think it's a little dangerous to try and just pick off one line. But I would definitely lean the power play. Probably for myself, I think I'm gonna just avoid the situation, especially since I like the under in this game. I think this ends up being like 3-1, 3-0, something like that. So not too crazy.
Right on, right. Nate's fine, man. Igor's a guy we've talked good on the show. He's a guy, he kind of catches a lot of hate, and I don't know if it's just because he plays for the Rangers. Kind of had a slow start to the year, but he's been great in his past, I believe it's last 4 or so games. He's looked really strong in net. Would you even consider playing him? What's your take on Shesterkin?
Yeah, definitely. We know what Igor's capable of, and I'm in agreement here with Matty Ice on my counterpart on the DFS side. He likes the Rangers, and I lean the Rangers here as well. Kevin Hayes is out. This Philly squad's in shambles. Carter Hart's coming off one of the best games all year. Stood absolutely destroyed Jersey, and Jersey's one of the best teams in the league. We all know that. So I don't think he's going to go back-to-back here. If he does, I will kind of take my L and move on. But definitely to Jared's point, go Rangers power play here. I'm not about to play line blender here on a 10-game slate, right, and get burned because my correlation, even 2-3-man stacks, gets kind of butchered in the middle of the game, right, and then you kind of lose ice time and stuff like that. So definitely like the power play here. Price tags are fine on these Rangers. They will be lower owned compared to some of the other higher end teams on the slate, like Tampa and some of that. But personally, I didn't get to them. But I'm only building one lineup today with kind of a full day planned ahead of me. But yeah, I definitely lean the Rangers power play a little bit here. Don't really like much from Philly. I'm just trying to look. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Philip Chittle has been solid in his last 5. I would say he still gets second power play run. He's under 4K. Shoots the puck about 3.5 times per game. So has some floor there with some upside. I mean, 2 games ago he had 24 DK points, and you get 24 at DK points under 4K. You're kind of mint for in a spot for a takedown there. So don't hate that. But yeah, overall, don't love the game a ton, to be honest with you. But Rangers definitely top power play at those prices do make for a contrarian kind of slate break potential stack for sure.
So news: Yaroslav Halak is actually the likely starter for the Rangers tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but I mean, Halak's been good. Halak's been good this year.
He's been better. I just still don't trust him.
Yeah, it's just I don't trust this Philly squad either.
No, they're just not everything.
Good. I mean, they are at home, but still, like Halak's 2.7 goals against. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I don't mind it still. But yeah, if Igor was in that, definitely like him more. Let me see what the prices are here. Yeah, so Halak's 8K. Don't love that just because I don't like paying up for goalie very much at all. I usually like to sit around that, like I said last time, that 7.5 and under range, just because, I mean, they can get there and shot, especially if you take a dog that's going to give up shots. You can get there and save upside. So Carter Hart's at 7.3K. I think people chase his Jersey 48 save game, right? I don't think that's coming again. I mean, he had the highest in the last 5 outside of that game was 34 in his last 5 with a couple 18s and low 20s. So don't love that, but 7.3K. I mean, if you land there is last spot, he's fine. But yeah, don't love Lock at 8K for sure.
You guys, if Shesterkin's not neck, Jared Tanner, you guys still like the under?
I like it a little less, but I still like it.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I would probably just lean more towards my bet with the 60-minute line. I think getting minus 110 for the Rangers for this matchup with all these guys out and everything, I think I'd probably lean that.
Pretty chalky to this point, and I always hate that. I like going through the slate looking for the dogs, but I mean, at this point, man, it's just vastly superior teams taking on pretty crappy teams. And so, well, yeah, we're bound to get one or two of these wrong. I think the majority of the favorites are going to win these games at this point. All right. Anything else before we move on?
Good here.
Nope, good.
All right, we got the Tampa Bay Lightning heading to Montreal, take on the Canadiens, who just got served beating by the Ducks. This Lightning team, man, I mean, we talked about it last week, their slow start to the season. We knew it was really only a matter of time before they caught fire and started playing like the cup contender that they are. And here they are. They've won 6 of their last 7. Toronto, unbeatable Toronto is the only team that's beaten Lightning. So they're red hot. Playing another crappy team in Montreal. Nade's a fine man. You lighten up the lineup with Lightning players?
So, yeah, I mean, this is one of the best games in DFS side on both sides of it. Baz has not been great in that. Baz is also expensive tonight. People might chase it after his last game, but he played Columbus. So I could stop and win a game against Columbus, and I can't even skate on ice. So that's saying something there. No, you don't want to see me skate. I can't ice skate. I just never could get it. That's why I never played hockey, even though, I mean, my dad played college hockey and stuff like that. That's kind of what got me into it. But yeah, I can't skate. So, but anyways, back to the DFS side here. Braden Point's on an absolute tear. His price just, DraftKings still refuses to just price this guy up. I just don't get it. I mean, he was 35% owned last slate. He'll probably be 25, 30% again on this slate in this matchup, which, I mean, I don't hate. He's got great history against Montreal as well. He's shooting nearly 5 times per game. So, I mean, if you're getting a center against Montreal who allows over 12 shots per game to centers, and he's under 7K shooting the puck 5 times a game, I mean, he's got hat trick upside here. Stamkos has been kind of coming off a crappy game. I played him last game. I got cute with the Tampa stack and went Stammer with Point and kind of left Kucherov and Hagel off, which obviously hurt me. They were needed for a takedown on the DFS side, but don't hate going back to him. I mean, prior to the last game against Columbus, he was great, right around 25 points per game in those 3. So don't hate that, and especially coming off a down game. I kind of like going back to some studs after coming off a down performance. So, yeah, I mean, this Tampa squad is great plays. I didn't get there personally in my one build, but I wouldn't fault anyone. I mean, bright green matchup. Montreal allows over 4 goals per game last 5 at home. Allen's been an RPS hero for us. He can always stand on his head, always has the upside to break a slate. He's a stud. It's just he has no defense in front of him. So it kind of resides on him and his shoulders, right, to stop this. Don't hate the Montreal side. You get some discounts outside of like Cole Caulfield. So like Christian Dvorak might be interesting play. I mean, he's been good, shoots right around 3 times per game. He's 3.7K. So I would look to the value if I'm going to the Habs here. And I can't fault anyone for playing any of these top 6, even some of these third liners for Tampa in this matchup. I lean more towards the second line with Stamkos and Paul and Kilhorn just for ownership purposes, but it's hard to go against Braden Point right now. So, yeah, that's where I'm at for this game. Great game for DFS. Tampa power play, great spot. Montreal gives up the most penalties per game, and Tampa's got the best road power play in the league. So that's where I would maybe look at a power play stack, right? Like Point, Stamkos, leave Kucherov off, leave Hagel off, and go maybe like a Point, Stammer, Hedman, something like that, right? And kind of half some of that ownership that you're going to get of that full line 1 stack, because they all do correlate on the power play as well. So it's just going to inflate ownership even more on that line. So grabbing like a Stammer or a Hedman, right, and leaving those 2 other guys off, especially Hagel off after the 2-goal game last game. Definitely that's where I would look for this to get a little bit different with the stack, but it's hard to fault anyone for going to these bolts here.
Jared, man, what do you got on this?
Yeah, I could look like an absolute donkey about this one, but I have a feel play here. I'm big on stats, but sometimes I just get a good feeling, and that's kind of why I rolled with McDavid and Draisaitl for my final lineup. And I just get a feeling that this is going to be a Montreal win. I would probably play a little safer and go with the plus 1.5 goal line. It's minus 125. I like that probably the most. And then I'd probably like put a half a unit on the money line. And so because of that, for DFS, I think a nice little low-owned stack of Suzuki and Caulfield could be pretty interesting. I could see this game shooting out. I like it. As Nazafy mentioned, I think Maddie and him both like this game. And so I like it as well. I think we see a lot of goals in this. And I'm calling a little 4-3 win for the Canadians here. So I could look pretty dumb after this.
No, not at all. I like it, man.
It.
I mean, of all these games, at least one of them, if not multiple, are going to have an upset. So if you got the numbers and feeling that it's this one, I'll jump on that with you.
Yeah, I think Vasilevsky should play. I think they've been off for a few days. I wish it was Brian Elliott. That would make me feel way more confident. But yeah, I think rolling with that could be interesting. The two of them are priced up. But I still think that you're going to get them, maybe 5%, even lower in GPPs. So I think that could be an interesting play. And I think it's possible that Matheson's back tonight. So helps their defense a little bit here tonight. So hopefully Jake Allen can be another hero for RPS tonight.
Right on. I think another way to play that too is just take the over. So those that aren't risk takers and don't want to take that money line, I think just even thinking Montreal can keep it competitive because they're certainly not going to shut down the Lightning. I think the over could be a great play here.
Yeah, and I guess I didn't really mention it, but I still like Tampa as well. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I don't know if I could go full game stack, but I think it's not crazy to have a few Tampa pieces in there.
Right on. Tanner, man, you liking the hot takes, or is Jerry just crazy?
No, he's a little crazy. I've been talking to him about it, but no, I've been riding the Braden Point train here. Like we said, he's underpriced on DK, as you're saying. He's underpriced as an anytime scorer here. He's plus 140 to score a goal. He was plus 125 this morning, so I don't really know what changed to get that bump going. But like you were mentioning earlier with the power play and how many they get going, for Braden Point just to record a power play point is plus 165. And I've been looking at that one all day, trying to find a reason not to take it. So that's probably where I'll be going. I definitely like the over here too, just because Vasilevsky's not the man he once was, or the team's not the team it once was. So you give Caulfield enough chances to start scoring, and he's going to score. And Suzuki's been playing better. Matheson, if he's back, obviously gives that team a huge boost. He was shooting the puck a ton when he was in. But, yeah, I mean, I do think Tampa wins this game. I think Jared's crazy. Minus 1.5, plus 105. I don't mind that whatsoever. Jake Allen has been the RPS hero, but I don't know if he's the hero tonight with how well this Bolts team's been playing lately. So, yeah, if I was going to pick a winner, I'd be going Bolts minus 1.5. But I think I'm going to be looking at Braden Point, just any prop on him at this point.
I know. Dude, I think the spiciest part about this take is the fact that you got to take an over. Because between Vasilevsky and Allen, if you wanted to tell me it was going to be a close game, Montreal was going to win, I think that's a pretty sound take. But Montreal in a high-scoring game, I love it, man. Keep people coming back. Right on. So we'll see how that one plays out, and certainly someone will have bragging rights come Tuesday. Anything else though on this game before we move on?
Nothing for me.
No, nothing.
I might be hiding from Discord around 9:30.
That's the great thing about a take like that is if it hits, you're an absolute genius. But it's a dog. Like you can't beat up on him too much if it doesn't hit.
This could be your loss and cross.
The goal and Suzuki have been better at home too, so
yeah.
I don't hate that. They're going to have zero ownership at their prices on this slate, especially being a 200 plus dog. But I mean, Tampa's not been lights out. I mean, they're middle of the road. They're allowing over 3 goals per game. So I mean, if that top line scores all 3 goals and Suzuki hits 1 and Caulfield hits 2, right? Like they can get there on the DFS even if they don't win the game, right? So like. You lose your money line play. All right, great. Well, I'm in contention for a takedown, right? And
it's a great hedge
for DFS. So I mean, I don't hate it for sure.
Right on. Well, up next, we got the Maple Leafs visiting the Capitals. Maple Leafs coming off against a loss against the Rangers. Dallas just entered the Capitals' 5-game winning streak. So both teams coming in, looking to get right. However, Leafs are a much better team, but, Capitals are hot and hard to beat hot. Fun note, Maple Leafs best team in the league on the power play. Going up against the scrappy Capitals team. Tanner, man, what are your thoughts?
I hate to say it, but it's another under I like. So hammer them on the DFS side. Both these teams have been very good defensively. I mean, looking at Nade's 5 sheet here, they're both 28 and 30th as far as goals against, both averaging at 2 or below for goals against. I do like, I don't know if you're playing it for DFS, but we got a little revenge game narrative for Ilya Samsonov, the Leafs goalie.
Yep.
Left the Capitals this past off season for greener pastures, it seems. But yeah, I definitely like the under here. DK has it at 6 and it's plus 100 even for the under there. So I'm definitely gonna be looking for that on here. As far as players go, I don't have it up right this second, but I'd be looking at maybe Mitch Marner to get back on the points train after he fell off it last game.
Yeah.
Where is he at here? He's over 1.5 points. That's at plus 150. So I don't mind that. I don't know if he gets the 2 points in a low scoring game, but I'd definitely be looking at some of those props there. I guess if you want to ride the Ovi train, let's see, he's plus 120 to score. They're going to probably be feeding it to him all night to try and get him to tie Gordie Howe. So there's definitely some narrative plays here. But beyond that, 2 defensive teams that can shut it down. And yeah, I like the under here for plus 100.
Yeah, I mean, of late, that Ovi play's been great. Worth noting on the Maple Leafs loss to the Rangers, Murray was in that. And yeah, Samsonov is expected today. So one would think they're just going to go back to winning. Jared, man, you got another hot take here, or are you riding with the Maple Leafs?
No, I don't have a super hot take. I mean, I think this is probably one of the best actual games tonight. I think it's gonna be really interesting. I think Washington, like when they're fully healthy, could be a better team than Toronto. They're missing a ton of guys, and slowly should get them back here over the next month or so. So it'd be interesting if they both had their full squads. I lean Washington a little bit. I'm not getting a good read. I think it's interesting that the Toronto messed up their power play. It looked like they were playing pretty well, and Sandin was doing a great job up on that PP1. So I think it's interesting to throw Michael Bunting on there and throw it all up. So yeah, I don't get a good read on this. I probably would just avoid it overall. I think this one could swing either way. I could see it being like 3-2 on either side. So I'd probably avoid it. In terms of DFS, I don't know. I'm just not getting a great read on this. I think they'll both be chucking the puck at the net. I definitely like, for anybody who plays Prize Picks, Ovechkin's shot total, 4 shots. I think he's going to be just chucking it. He always does in these big games against big opponents. So I definitely like that if you're playing on Prize Picks. DFS, I'm going to play a wait and see approach, see what the ownership is on some of these guys, and then base my decisions off of that a little bit.
Fair enough. Nate the Five Man, what about you?
Yeah, I don't love this game for DFS. Both teams are bottom 3 in the league in allowing goals. I just don't love it. Sure, you can always play Ovi the Great. He did get his 800, but his price is over 8K now, which is warranted. And you can always play Austin Matthews, right? And yeah, I'd rather go other spots here in DFS than this game. I think this is going to be a better real-life hockey game than a DFS game for sure, to Jared's point. Let me see what these goaltenders' prices are. Yeah, so, I mean, I wouldn't hate Samsonov in the revenge spot at 7.8K. Don't love paying up for goalie again, but, I mean, Washington shoots top 10 in the league at home, so he's got saves upside there. He stood absolutely destroyed Anaheim the game. So like the last 2 games, right? He's coming off 2 shutouts. So I don't love that because there's probably some regression there, but you don't need a shutout, right, to ship a slate with a goalie. He's a little bit cheaper than some of those higher priced, more higher favorite goaltenders, right, at the top. And Lindgren has been solid. I mean, he's been good. He's 7.6K. Don't hate that either. I mean, Toronto as well shoots near the top 10 in the league in pucks, so he's got saves upside there. Washington squeaks out the win here as the dog. I mean, he could get there GPP wise with the win bonus too. So don't hate either goaltender here. That's probably my lean in DFS wise. I just don't like playing the salary for these players, which, I mean, on the flip side, counter argument to that, right? They're going to be low owned. I don't see many people going here at all, to be honest, at these prices. I mean, Matthews is over 8K, Ovechkin's over 8K. Marner's been on an absolute tear. Nylander's been good. So there's some good plays here, good players in general. I just think this game plays slower, plays more like a playoff hockey game. And at this point in the season on a 10-game slate, I don't know if I really want to play and target a playoff type feel hockey game, right, for DFS purposes. But it's going to be low owned. So if you got a lean, definitely go for it. But it's just not for me.
Right on. Anything else before we move on? Oh, beautiful.
Nope.
Got a question in the chat. I was trying to answer in the chat, but a little bit, too much to explain. We got a question. What's the Discord? So the Discord's the app. It's just names of 5-man. You explain it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, D Bullware. So the Discord's basically, it's our subscriber platform for members on Run Pure Sports. If you want to check us out, it's runpuresports.com. $100 a month at the base package. You get all sports, one price. We're not going to charge you more for other sports starting, things like that. Baseball starting here in the spring. We're not going to increase the price for that. But basically, it's all of us coordinators. So you'll see myself in there, Big T, some of the other guys on that cover the other sports are all in there answering questions pretty much any time out of the day. You can tag us there, answer your questions, chat with other knowledgeable members. I think that's personally the best part about Run Pure Sports is the Discord. So much knowledgeable information in there. We'll tag you all with late news. So any late scratches obviously doesn't happen a ton in hockey, but if you're into NBA, where that's news is huge, you get tagged in there. You can ask us all questions, and we're in there. We're not in there on the time schedule, right? Like I'm in there from 3 to 5 on this day, right? We're in there constantly, always chatting with members, talking strategy, things like that. So it's a great addition, and it is premium only, so only subscribers do have access to it. So if you want to give us and check us out, see what it's about. I believe we do have weekly memberships as well that are discounted off the $100 membership. So head over to runpuresports.com. Check our packages out. Again, all sports, one price. So that's definitely where you can find us and find a lot of good information there, Debo.
Yeah, beautiful explanation. Yeah. It is definitely one of the best benefits of being a Run Pure member because it's also just a great community, right? I mean, we just chop it up in there. So while if you do have betting or DFS questions, guys are answering almost instantaneously. Also, just guys talking sports, breaking news, stupid stuff, whatever it may be. Definitely worth checking out for sure. All right, moving right along, though. Next up, we got the Florida Panthers visiting the New Jersey Devils. Jersey lost 2 in a row, hoping to get right against Bobrovsky and the Panthers. This is a Panthers team that can score, but they also give up a lot of goals. For me, man, I'm zoning in on the over 6.5. But, like I said, will the Devils' woes continue, or does Florida win, excuse me. So I lost my train of thought there. Tanner, what you got on this one?
I think it's a good spot for the Devils to right that ship. They've been bad the past couple games, running a 2-game losing streak, 3 games or I guess 4. You throw in the OT to the Rangers there, and then they just shoot the puck a ton. The implied total here is well over the over of 6.5. They haven't been scoring as much lately, but they still dominate as far as puck possession and shots go. And Florida hasn't been great as far as defending against the shots. And I've been bad-mouthing Bobrovsky all year, and I'm going to keep it up. The guy's just not good. It's Spencer Knight's job. Bobrovsky right now is below a 90 save percentage. He's averaging over 3 goals against a game. That's just on the season. I'm definitely looking more towards the Devils here. They're minus 140 money line, which I don't mind that at all. They're plus 115 to win it in regulation. I'd probably go there. I don't know if I'd take a minus 1.5 just because the Panthers can put up goals. For me, a lot of it depends on whether Matthew Tkachuk is in the lineup. He just brings a lot of that. He can score goals, and he's just a gritty player to play against. No one likes playing against him. Kind of a rat. So if he's playing again with if they put him again with Barkov and all that, it definitely increases their firepower. If he's out of the lineup, I'm very much on the Devils side here, whether it be in regulation or just straight up money line.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is another one, man. Like I said, I hate being so chalky. That's why I'd kind of stay away from the line in this one. This is definitely a spot I could see the Panthers, getting an upset here. I definitely think the over is a smart play.
Sure.
I'm guessing this is a great game for DFS. Jared, man, what you got on it?
Yeah, I like this game for DFS for sure. I definitely lean the New Jersey side. As Tanner was saying, I'm not the biggest Bobrovsky fan as well. I would lean their power play. They're kind of like the same thing where they're like their two lines are spread out. I like more playing with their power play. And it seems like Florida gives up the 12th most power play opportunities, and they're not the best penalty killers. I think 75%. So you can go with the power play. I'd lean Heischer between Hughes and Heischer. That price for Hughes is getting up there for sure. In a spot that's a little more uncomfortable. And I think an interesting thing too would be they have a lot of cheap defenders. I think picking one of them off, if you're trying to get a cheap defender, it's been hard to pick between all of them. But they're all getting a decent amount of ice time. I'd probably go Ryan Graves over Marino and Siegenthaler, I think is how you would say it.
Siegenthaler, yeah.
Siegenthaler, yep. And overall, I lean the Devils money line.
Awesome. Right on. Nate's fine, man. You in alignment there, or you got different opinions?
Yeah. So this screams Devils beat down to me. I think Bob gets destroyed. I think Devils right their ship here to being back to one of the best teams like we've seen earlier this year in hockey. I know Nico's cheaper than Jack. It's hard to go against Jack right now, what he's doing. He puts his team on his back. I lean Jack personally. Ownership's probably going to be lower as well at 8K, right, than what Nico's price is. But if you don't have the salary to get up to Jack, don't hate Nico. But Jack's still leading this team in shots per game. So like a Jack Dougie stack is going to be super low owned. It's obviously expensive. I like other spend ups on the slate, but I can never fault anyone from playing Jersey. I mean, the Panthers allow just about 3.5 goals per game on the road last 5. Allow top 10 nearly in shots against. And they just don't have a great penalty kill at 75%. Nearly 4 penalties per game they give up to. So you put this Devils power play on the top, this top Devils power play on the give them a chance. Basically, I don't doubt that they pot 1 or 2 here. Is that enough to pay out their price tags? I'm not sure, but we play for upside in GPPs, right? I'm not a cash game player really, so I'm looking for low-owned spots that have potential, and I think the Devils are probably going to go one of the lower-owned teams here on the slate. One call-up, Miles Wood is 3.4K, gets second power play run. He's on the third line. I like third line playing third liners more on home ice. Just because they can play matchups, they dictate the matchups, getting that last change, right? And Miles Wood has been great. I mean, his lowest game in the last 6 is 5 DK points. And 5 DK points, yeah, it's not probably going to win you a GPP, but it's not going to also kill your lineup at 3.4K as well to make other things fit. And, I mean, he sees close to 15 minutes per game. Again, he's on that power play, that second run. Doesn't get a ton of power play minutes, but it's I mean, close to a minute and a half. It looks like last 5. It is still fine at 3.4K. Another guy, Igor Sharangovich, has been great. He doesn't get power play run, but he's getting 3.4K. Skating with Jack on that top line or second line, but either or first, second line, he should get a better matchup because, again, they get the last swap, last change. And I think they'll give Jack a better matchup than Nico in terms of line pairing, line matching at home ice. So maybe a Jack, Igor, Dougie stack or something like that, right? Or just Jack and Igor could be a very low owned spot, and you kind of middle that salary, right? You save money from Brat or one of Nico's line mates to go to Igor and kind of get that salary that way is kind of an interesting take there. But personally, I didn't get to the Devils, but again, playing one lineup, I kind of just planted my flag where I'm going. And we'll talk about them coming up because I like the later games. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Again, Jersey, great plays. These price points on some of these cheaper guys like Mercer, Sharangovich, Tatar, those guys, I mean, they're probably going to get more ownership than some of the more expensive guys. But again, it's a great matchup, and you need to save salary somewhere, right? You can't just play all these top end guys that obviously if salary wasn't a thing, every lineup would be scattered with these top end guys because they're priced up there for a reason, right? But yeah, good game in general. You're on mute, Donkey.
Mute.
Anything else before we move on?
I was just gonna let him keep going.
No, we're good. We're good here.
Okay, another game kind of talked about pre-show. Seems like a blowout spot. Sabres, they won their last two after dropping 2 in a row to the Penguins. Tages had 3 goals in that time. However, they're visiting the Coyotes, who are a very scrappy team at home. They are coming off a win last night against the Islanders. So, scrappy team at home against the rested Sabres team that's on a roll. Jared, man, where do you stand on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a pretty obvious spot. This is very similar to the game early slate for the Oilers. I think this is just a smash spot. It hurts me to go against the Yotes because they came through for me. But I think I'm going to have to, as much as it pains me to do. Yeah, I think that this is a solid one. The interesting thing, I was talking to Tanner about this. The line opened up at minus 127, which feels very, very low for this matchup. It's been obviously bet up. I think it's up to like 180 now. So
yeah, I see 178,
that,
but still, that even seems. Looking at the numbers, I mean, I thought this would have been 250 to 300.
It's making that puck line look real nice.
Yeah, I mean, this line seems fishy, so maybe Vegas is seeing something I don't, but I mean, it's hard for me to believe that the Yotes on a back-to-back after a physical game last night with the Islanders where they had to come from behind and then fight the Islanders off late when they were on a 6-on-5 advantage when they pulled Sorokin. I mean, the Yotes have been printing for us all week. I even played veggie last night in that and was on the Yotes, had Clayton Keller almost hat trick as a core play. They made me money last night, made me money all week long. This is an absolute smash spot, in my opinion, for Buffalo in every metric possible. And call me a chalk donkey, call me what you want, but there's enough other good spots on the slate. And with this sitting under 200 favorite, I don't know if the ownership's really going to absolutely slam because I mean it's Saturday. More DFS sports are weaker outside. Obviously, we have football today, but typically on Saturdays there's not a ton of other stuff going on. So you might see more people jumping in the NHL street and just kind of blind running optimizers, things like that. I don't know that Buffalo is really going to get slammed. I mean, their price tags aren't extremely cheap, and they're not a 200, 300 favorite that some of these other teams that absolutely get steamed in ownership. So I don't know the ownership's really going to follow. So I just love this spot here.
Agreed.
I think it's also interesting. I think people will probably try and get other spots in that are more expensive. So they'll probably lean more of the Cousins line. And I think it would be interesting to just flop that and stay with the top line, pay up for them. I think that would be the better move. I like. I found plus 145 for Jeff Skinner to score. I think he's gonna come in pissed off. He was suspended for 3 games after his hit in the Penguins game, so he'll be back tonight. And he was on a tear before he got suspended. He would put up. He's been putting up, I think, 11 or more in the last 6 games, and a couple of 20 bombs in there. So I like him for sure tonight. And in these matchups where there's like a heavy favorite, even though for some reason the line doesn't like that, I like looking for some interesting bets in these ones. So like the score, and then I also like the puck line on the first period. I think Buffalo is going to come out hot. It's minus 0.5 and it's plus 155 for the Sabres. So I think that would be a good bet for tonight. And I don't need to explain anymore. I think Nate is fine. You got it. I think you just go Buffalo and DFS.
Yeah, so I'll hit on this one real quick because I actually got to bounce after this this game breakdown here, and I'll talk on my other game that I like as well here. But yeah, so I actually do lean Cousins over Tag. Like you can go Tag, Tuck, and Skinner to get that power play because it's the best power play matchup on the entire slate. Arizona gives up the most penalties per game on home. We saw it last night with Islanders. That's how they almost won that game and were winning the game. It is from that power play. So I absolutely love this power play for Buffalo and leaving Ted off that stack because he's not only 8.6K, but I think people game log hunt, right? And you see a 70 bomb and a 40 bomb, right, in his game logs. It's hard to not click that name, especially in this matchup. So I'll take the 2.6K savings, right, and go to Cousins and still grab pieces that can get exposure, right, to Tage through Skinner, through Tuck, skating on that same line. I did have Casey Middlestat in my core outside. I forgot Skinner's back because Middlestat was on that top power play filling in for Skinner, and he was good. So I will update my core. And I'm probably going to throw Skinner in there with Tuck and Cousins, to be honest, to give you a little foreshadow of my core for the members. I just don't see a way to get away from this Buffalo top. One thing to do is they do have a cheaper D-man. So obviously you can play Dahlin. He's a great play. Could break a slate. I actually like going to Matthias Samuelsson for cheaper. Still skating on that top line. So again, have exposure to Tage in that top line. So I like that. That's about me. I'm slamming the Sabres. I know I probably made that clear here. But one other game I do like later on that because I got to bounce here is I love the Winnipeg Jets. I think they're going to slam this team. I love them for DFS purposes. I like that second line in PLD. Dubois and Connor. I think they're great plays. Connor might not make my core now just because I'm probably going to throw in Skinner. But he's a stud. I like that second line. They're on the road. It's absolute nut matchup against Vancouver. Vancouver's an absolute mess. Their coach is a donkey. This team's in shambles. And I can see Vancouver putting up 4 or 5 here. They've been one of the best road scoring teams as well. So for me, my top 3 teams are the Sabres, the Jets, and kind of just fill in with value pieces from there. So that's where I'm at today. I got to run, guys. Thanks.
Appreciate you, Nate. Try, man. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Right on. Sabres, Coyotes. Oh, yeah. All right. So, Tanner, man, we're all on the Sabres. Give us something hot. Give us a great bet.
I mean, my favorite bet of the day is certainly Sabres puck line, plus 155. I think that's a very easy take. But we were talking about the power play. The Coyotes are terrible. They give up the 3rd most power plays. Buffalo gets the 6th most gets the 6th most power plays. They are rocking at 40% on the power play right now for the Sabres. So I've been looking at those numbers. Tuck to record a power play point is plus 195. Skinner's to record a power play point is plus 200. I think, one of them is going to get a point on the power play tonight. I would be very shocked if they didn't. You can still get that Tage Thompson goal and one of them on the assist, or like you said, Jared, Skinner getting that goal, coming in all pissed off after cross-checking Jake Gensel in the face. Should have been suspended for life, but that's fine. I think you take either one of them for a power play point, and one of them's going to cash, and it's going to pay for the other bet and then some. If they don't both cash, I can see them both. I mean, I'm tucked to Skinner for a stat line wouldn't shock me whatsoever. So that's definitely where I'm going to be looking for the value, just like we're doing in DFS. It's just I think that power play is going to be clicking all night long and just lighting up. Who's even Connor Ingram? He's been terrible. So they're just going to cook these. They're just going to cook this Coyotes team. They were good to me last night, but yeah, I'm off the train.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so as I said, man, I hate how chocolate we've been, so I got to come up with something hot, and this is the game, man. For me, the play here, I like a goal in the first 5 minutes. That's going to pay out plus 150.
Oh,
I like that.
Wow, the puck
Spicy.
line's a great move. I'm going to raise you. I'm taking Sabres minus 2.5 for a plus 245 payout. I think they're going to run rampant over this.
No, I don't hate that at all.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Right on. There
Good
it is.
value.
There you have it. Anything else, boys, before we move on?
No.
I think that's it.
It's play of the day, everyone. If we're all back in the Sabres here to blow them out. So
Anything on the
Coyotes
Sabres
come
is the play of the
out
day.
Don't be looking for us in the Discord.
If you see the Sabres and plus money, take it.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And the thing is too, like I wouldn't. It's the back-to-back for me. Like if
For sure.
Coyotes hadn't played last night, I would definitely give them more of an edge. But that's a hard pass.
Yeah, tough game last night. Like I said, Connor Ingram and that Vejmelka can stand on his head here and there. Connor Ingram's not doing that.
Yep.
All right, next game. Predators, Avalanche. Colorado extremely banged up. Nashville's a bit of a sorry team, man, but just the way Colorado has not been sharp of late, this is definitely a potential upset spot here. Tanner, what do you have on it?
I don't think this is an upset spot really either, or upset spot there, because I do like the Avalanche here. The Predators have just been terrible on the road. They're one of the lowest road scoring teams as of late. They're only averaging around 2 goals a game. Colorado has their numbers are slightly skewed, I'd say, just because they're slowly getting guys back into the lineup. Nichushkin's back and Lekkonen's been back and all that. So they've been better, and they've been very good defensively on home ice. They're only allowing around 2 goals a game. But the Nashville Predators just don't really seem to shoot all that much. They're averaging around 26 shots. It's just I don't think they're all that. I don't think they're all that good. And a big thing I've been looking at is the disparity in UC Saros's home and away stats. He's just atrocious on the road. I think most, if not all, of his losses have been on the road. His goals against almost doubles on the road. It's not a good spot for them. Struggling to score with a goalie that's been struggling to save the puck on the road. With the Avalanche getting that second change, so even if they do still have guys banged out, I know Erod's coming back. I don't know if he's any news on him for tonight or if that's even a possibility. But I definitely am on the Avalanche a little more here. I think what I like more there is I like the Preds for under 2.5 goals for minus 120. Nice. Just because I don't mind the under there, under 6 for minus 115. But I do think the Avalanche, with how bad Saros has been on the road, I think the Avalanche could pop in a few. And I think they could definitely maybe carry it to the over. I definitely don't mind the under. I just think that the Predators are going to struggle to score here. So them under 2.5 for minus 120 is definitely where I'd be looking here.
Fantastic. Worth noting that when Colorado went to Nashville in November, they won 5-3. They scored 4 goals in the second period and kind of just cruised from there. Again, as mentioned, though, with all the injuries, this isn't the same Colorado team. I just feel there got to be some upsets in the slate. I think this could be one of those spots. Jared, man, break the tie for us.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's one of those spots as well. I would probably lean not picking a winner for this one. I think it's pretty
not
gross.
My favorite game at all.
Both teams are pretty rough. I think they're both like bottom in scoring and top in defending. And they both don't give up a ton of power play opportunities. So you're looking at a game that could be decided by 1 goal. So usually in those spots, I like to avoid picking a winner. But I agree with you. I think this is definitely one of the best spots for an underdog to win because of that. So I'm going to be pretty much out from the DFS side. the one thing I will note is a lot of the Nashville defense is very cheap on DraftKings. So gross is 3,500, and then from down the lineup, Ekholm's 2.9, Fabro's 2.7. I think taking a stab at one of them, if you're looking for a cheap defender, could be pretty good. I mean, Ekholm for 2.9 is very, very cheap, even though he doesn't put up a lot of points, gets some good blocks, shoots the puck. I think it could be a nice cheap play. I wanna play a goaltender in this game, but I just don't feel super confident in Saros. He's 7-1. As Tanner was mentioning, he's been a little bit worse on the road, so can't go there. And I'm not paying 8-4 for Georgiev. I think he won't see a ton of shots because Nashville doesn't shoot the puck a ton. So I think altogether I'd just avoid this game and then go under 6 in this game for sure.
I like that play. Tanner, man, it's all right. You can be. You don't have to.
Nah, it's fine.
Back
it's
off
fine.
your play just because we don't like it, man. Take a stand.
No, I mean the Avs are still the Avs. When they're on that home ice, they can put Rant. They still have one of their solid lines back together. If you give them the right matchups, they can still cook any team. It really doesn't make a difference for them. Sometimes they still have Makar, Byram. I don't know if Byram's back, but Devon Taves is there. They've just got their back end is so deep that Makar is another forward basically. The guy's just ridiculous. But yeah. I don't mind the Predators. I do like them. I'm pretty disappointed in Saros for this season for the most part. He's been not the goalie I thought he was going to be, but
he's jumping back and forth.
Yeah, he's been all over. It just depends on what rank he's in. But yeah, no, my favorite play is definitely the under here, just because I think it could be an ugly game.
Yeah. All right, so you guys realize that all the overs are going to hit today, and
for sure.
all the dogs are going to win.
For sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Moving along to a little bit better game. We got the Islanders visiting the Knights. Islanders, they're on a 3-game losing streak since beating the Devils, so they kind of had, a bit of a swan song and have just died ever since. Vegas continues to dominate the league. One note about Vegas, they're surprisingly bad on the power play. I was kind of looking at the note. Nadesify and I were talking about that pre-show. They've been better of late, decent in their last 5, but overall, just sloppy. Worse for the Islanders, I believe it's Varmalov's expected in net. I think Sorokin's out.
Sorokin played last night.
It's definitely an opportunity for the Knights to run rampant, but you just never know with this Islander squad. Jared, man, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this is a wait and see for me. So definitely, I can talk about it in Discord later. It is possible that Jack Eichel plays. I believe. I think he was considered day to day, and I think he's eligible to play tonight. So that would be interesting if he's in. And I believe also Shea Theodore is day to day. So if they got both of them back, I think this is a great spot for them. I don't know how much of it I'd play in DFS. I think based on one of those guys being back, definitely Eichel will shake up the lineup for sure. He'll probably jump back up to that first. And if that happens, I really do like the Carlson, Marchessault, Riley Smith line. I think you could take a stab at 2 of them and throw them in your lineup for a late night hammer. But I would definitely wait to see what happens with the injuries. But I think attacking Varlamov is always a good bet.
He's just atrocious. Yeah,
with Eichel and Theodore being questionable, I would definitely jump on this over now. Over 6 minus 102, because even without them, there's a good chance that hits. But they come back. I mean, they could just run 7-1 over in this Islanders team. That's kind of the way
I like the puck line there for the Knights. It's plus 155 right now. Yep. Even if Eichel comes back, I don't think it's going to shift the line that much. He's still going to get a great value out of that. It's funny you mentioned Marchessault. I had him written down as an anytime goal scorer plus 150. He's their leading scorer, 4 goals over the last 5. He's been very good with Eichel in and out of the lineup. And, he was one of those guys I was even shocked Vegas picked up in the expansion draft with how he was playing when he was in Florida. Mm-hmm. So he's definitely one of my more liked, under talked about players. So yeah, I definitely like the Vegas side of things here. Varlamov is just garbage.
Agreed.
I have a lot of hot takes on goalies.
You too. Jared, man, anything else from you before we move along?
Yeah, I would pay attention to the news if Theodore is out. They've been playing this Miramonov guy a decent
Hmm.
amount. He's on the top power play. So, and I think he's 3,700. He's played 19 minutes over the past couple games and put up some decent scores. So, another cheap defender. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of going cheap at defender.
Very thrifty.
Right on. Right on. You got to save money somewhere. I like it. It's a great call out.
Yeah.
2 more games on the slate. Just a reminder, hit that like button. Don't forget, baby, run pure. Check out our website. Tanner and I dropping free articles, free picks. Have you released your best bets for today yet, Tanner?
I have not. No, that's going to be coming out shortly after this. I got to go through all my notes and see which ones I actually like the most.
Beautiful.
The only one that'll for sure be on there is the Sabres.
Right on. I already dropped my NFL picks for today and tomorrow. So again, even if you're not a member, it's tons of great information we're still releasing. Winnipeg at Canucks. This is a game Nate I was talking about. He's loving Winnipeg. This game's a pick'em. Jets, one of the best teams in the West. The Canucks, man, they've been hot. They score at an incredible rate. Jared, man, what you looking at in this game?
Yeah, I think as Nate Safai was saying earlier, I think this is a smash spot for the Jets. They've been looking really great over the past couple games. They started out slow to the season, but their offense has looked amazing. So I agree with him. As he was saying earlier, I prefer the second line here. I think Dubois, Connor are great plays tonight for DFS. I think even possibly doing a power play stack here could be a good move. And let me look at the line real quick. Yeah, it's hard I didn't know that the Canucks were favored, so I like the Jets minus 115.
Yeah, that moved.
I did not realize that I was reading that wrong. So I like
it opened.
Jets.
They were both 110.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So I like them for sure. Tonight, I agree with Nazafai. I think this is a great matchup for them.
I know. Question for you, man. So I know Nazafai. He is not a fan of the Canucks. So I was looking at the numbers last night. Canucks opened the year with 7 straight losses. Then they went 500 over their next 10. And now they've won 7 of their last 10. Like, they just need some time to warm up, find their groove. I think they could be dangerous. Nazafai thinks they're frauds. Where are you on this team?
I think the hard part about it is we've heard a lot of rumors about Bo Horvat wanting out of the team. There was also a ton of rumors last year around the trade deadline about JT Miller being shipped out. Their defense is a lot of guys that flamed out from their previous teams and ended up on this team. I don't think they're like the worst team in the world. I think they're just a middling squad. I wouldn't call them frauds. I don't think they're a playoff team. I think their biggest hurting point as well is in goaltender. Demko is definitely by far their best player in net, and he's been out for a while. So if they get him back, I think they could slowly get some wins here and there and upset some teams. But tonight, I think I'm sticking with Winnipeg.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's just weird because it's one of those things like you never really know what's going on in the locker room. So it's hard to say how bad things actually are in Vancouver or if it's just losing. And winning solves all problems. So, I mean, if they continue on this streak,
yes, it does.
They're in playoff contention, kind of come the All-Star break. Do you think that changes the outlook on this team?
I think that eventually they're going to move these guys. I think that's just the way that all the arrows are pointing towards that. I think they're going to move on, try and find some package deals to get some picks and some young players and move past this. I think they're just looking for some movement on their roster to try and get a little bit younger, and probably will have to start a rebuild again because it's unfortunate. I think they have some great players. Pedersen's stuck there. Besser, I think, is a great player. Quinn Hughes. So it stinks for them, but I think they're just in this middle ground where they're, not the worst team, not gonna, make any noise in the playoffs. So I think they'll probably move on from those guys eventually.
Tanner, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think the writing's on the wall for them. Excuse me. But yeah, like Bo Horvat wants out. There's rumors of I think it was Brock Besser got healthy scratch the other night. So there's rumors of him possibly being moved very soon. I mean, I've been all over the Jets this year. I love Connor Hellebuck. He's been a major letdown at some points. Almost cost Jared a nice trip to Denver. But I like them tonight. Like I said, they got them at Pick'em, -115 on DraftKings. I don't mind taking them even at the 60-minute marker for +140.
Wow.
I really like that payout for them. The Vancouver's just so inconsistent. Boudreau's just throwing, shit at the wall to see what sticks as far as lines go. They can't get any consistency anywhere, whether it be goaltending or defending or goal scoring seems to be the one thing they can do, but I don't know if they can keep that up against the Jets with Hellebuck in that. Like, he's been lights out at times. They're averaging under 3 goals against. This is just not a good matchup for the Canucks whatsoever, even on home ice.
No concern. So I know Hellebuck is not confirmed, but he is expected. This would be his 4th game this week. Any concerns there?
Yeah. Yes, that is one of the things that I'm definitely paying attention to. And they play tomorrow. So they play the Kraken tomorrow. So there is a small chance that they might want to save Hellebuck for that. A little bit tougher of a matchup. Yeah. So I would not be shocked if Ridge is the goaltender tonight.
I'd almost prefer to see Ridge in net for Winnipeg.
Yeah.
If he's in that, I'm hammering the over.
I would lean the over there as well. And then that would bring a little bit of the cheaper Vancouver guys into play for me personally.
Yeah, obviously Hellebuck's great, something against him, but just knowing they got that game coming up, how many consecutive games he's played, I just feel like this team would be better off giving Hellebuck the day off.
Oh yeah, I think in terms of for the team personally, I think it's better for them to do that for our purposes. That would definitely make me a little less happy with my choice of the Winnipeg money line. So I would probably just play the game in DFS and maybe avoid it betting wise if Rittich is rolled in.
Fair enough. I agree. The over is so weird. So the over opened at 6. It's up to 6.5. But I mean, I feel like both these teams are capable of scoring 6 on their own. So that's absolute a hammer spot.
Yeah, especially with Riddick in that. He hasn't been very good. He's not Hellebuck. So on the road, the Canucks can light him up for sure.
So again, I feel like the Nades fight here. I got to go against you guys, though. I'm kind of leaning Canucks. I think it'll be a close game, but seeing how this team can score, I'm taking Vancouver. I'd love to hear from a Vancouver fan because this just has to suck. Like, your team's finally playing great, and you're still probably going to lose your whole squad, and you're going to be in as worse of a spot as you were.
Yeah, just full-blown rebuild. And I had them as like a fringe playoff team coming into the season. I thought they were just going to be very good, and they've been terrible.
They're going to be like perfectly mediocre, right? They started the season 0-7, and then at least they were playing for that top pick because
Bedard there. The top five picks from this draft are all just ridiculously talented.
Okay, it's okay. Because I know
it's one of the better drafts that's been around in a while.
That's like the one good thing about being a Ducks fan right now. It's like, wow, we're sucking. Ooh, can you imagine getting him and Zegras on the same line? Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be insane.
We'll see.
And there's rumors that the Ducks might go after Horvat.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, which I don't really get because I feel like he wants to be a competitor, but
I don't.
I'll choose to believe it. I'm gonna choose to believe it until it's not true.
Fair enough.
Great stuff, guys. Great stuff. So one more game to go. Kind of a weird one. It's probably better for DFS than betting. Is the San Jose Sharks visiting the LA Kings? Kings, man, they're a scrappy team. You never know what you're going to get with them. Oh, there we go. Look at that, man. Look at that. I love when the chat's breaking us news. Better than Miss Morning Skate. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's a healthy scratch, right?
I don't know. I haven't seen why he was out. Maybe I can find it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Maybe he's on the move. No, I doubt it. Get the rumor mill going.
Yeah, I don't know. He played on the 14th. He played 20 minutes. So I don't know.
So
it says illness.
Nothing.
Oh, there you go.
Illness.
Oh, he might have COVID or something. All right, fair enough.
His illness is he's
Sharks
sick
and
of
Kings.
Vancouver.
That's fact.
Sick of Vancouver. Right on. So we got Pacific Division rivals going at it. Sharks been pretty horrible. Luckily, they got the Ducks to pad the bottom of the Pacific Division. Kings, like I said, just never know what you're going to get with them. Scrappy team, but really hot and cold. Personally, this is a stay away spot for me. Kind of a crappy game to end the show on. That's at least how I feel about it. Tanner, man, you got a different opinion?
Yeah, I mean, not the greatest game. I don't mind the over here. The Kings continue to surprise me with how little defense they play, considering they have such good defensive forwards in Kopitar and Philip Deneau. But yeah, they continue to be, the last 5 games, they're top 5 in scoring, averaging almost 4 a game, and they're allowing almost 5 a game. So if you give the Sharks chances, I think Quick's in net tonight, which I don't really know why. Copley's been playing much better, but I mean, the Sharks have the talent. If you give them enough chances, they're going to score on them. And the Kings are going to score on the Sharks team. So if I probably won't touch it, but if I were to go after it, I definitely like the over sitting at 6 right now. And that's paying out minus 115. So I don't mind that play at all.
Right on. What about you, Jared?
Yeah, these defenses are pretty bad. The Kings shock me with their defense, as Tanner was talking about. They've always been a solid defensive team, as we saw in the playoffs last year against the Oilers. They were playing great defense against them. So it is a weird scenario. If Quick is definitely in, I would like San Jose 1 in DFS. I think Hurdle's been shooting a lot more recently over the past couple games, which is a great sign because earlier in the season he was barely shooting at all. So I think him and Timo Meier could be an interesting duo for late night. And then Matt Benning has been putting up great scores over the past month at a cheap price, so I think he could be interesting as well. On the LA side, I wouldn't hate a cheap stack of their second line. So that would be Denault, Moore, and then I don't know who they have up there now. They've been changing the lines a lot, but I think Denault and Moore would be an interesting duo. Moore's been shooting a ton this season, which is a great sign for a guy that's just 4,800. So I think if you're looking for a cheap stack, I think that could be definitely the play. Last time they played, I think the Kings won 5-2, so I don't hate the over like Tanner was mentioning. But I'd probably just leave this one for the DFS streets for sure. And it's I just looked, it's Iafallo, who is 3,300. So I think that could be a good line stack for sure.
Fantastic, right on. Anything else on this game or the slate?
Nothing for me. I think we covered it all.
Yep.
We did.
Definitely pay attention to the news. I think there's a lot of injuries and news to pay attention to, especially goaltenders and stuff like that. So definitely stay in Discord. I know both the guys on the DFS side are pretty busy today, so I'm happy to jump in and give some news and help out with any questions people have for sure. But looking forward to it. It should be a fun one.
Yeah, absolutely. As mentioned, always love the Discord questions. Always happy to help you guys out. So don't be afraid. Whatever you got, live bet, DFS question, more than happy to help you out. And yeah, that was one thing coming in a little frustrating. Not many goalies were confirmed, but that's why we got the Discord, so we can roll with the punches as they come. Thank you for joining us, Jared. And before we get out of here, let me get everyone's favorite play prop or DFS gem. Tanner, man, we'll start with you.
I mean, I don't think this is going to shock anybody. I've said it a handful of times today already. Sabres minus 1.5. I just think that's got to be the play of the day, especially paying out plus 155. I guess it's 140 right now. The line's definitely shifted a smidge, but I don't mind it there whatsoever. The Sabres should absolutely crush this Coyotes team.
Jared?
Yep. In terms of betting, I would probably say my favorite pick is the under in the Rangers Flyers game, under 6. My off the wall play is my Montreal money line play for sure. And then DFS gem, I think that's Suzuki Caulfield. Just to go back on the Montreal, I think they're going to be low owned. They shoot the puck a ton. I think Caulfield pops one for sure tonight.
Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, I got a second pick to be a little bit different, but I just want it on the record. I want that Buffalo -2.5 plus 240. Scared money don't make money.
No, it does. I like it.
I love it.
There's going to be blowouts, so get on it. But then my other favorite play, to give you guys a little bit diversity, give me Ovechkin anytime goal plus 120. That was a great call out by Tanner. Big game when they're, taking on Toronto, right?
Yep.
Toronto. Yep. Taking on Toronto. Spotlight will be on him. I like a goal there. Jared, anything to close us out?
No, that's it. Just appreciate all the support that I got. Had a bunch of people say thank you. I'm excited to represent. And thanks for having me on the show. And I will see you guys in Discord later tonight.
Fantastic. Tanner, wise words to close us out?
No, just don't have many wise words ever, but keep an eye out for the article that's should be coming out soon. I got to go through and collect my thoughts on which ones are my favorite. And yeah, as always, my articles are free for anyone to look at. So if you're in the YouTube channel, you can go to the website and still get access to all my betting articles. So keep an eye out for that in the next hour or two.
Fantastic. Everyone remember, straight money wins money, and run pure, baby.